Archaeology's played a really important role in the discovery and reconstruction of the Bray School. Back in 2012, the goal was really to find a foundation that could be the Bray School. We weren't 100% sure that the building that was still standing was the Bray School building at the time, and so one of the reasons that we were out there doing archaeology was to see if there was a foundation that would be a better candidate. Those earlier excavations didn't find an earlier foundation because the foundation was underneath Brown Hall, and it turns out that the building that was still standing was in fact the Bray School. But when we found it, it was in its second location, and when you remove a building from its landscape, you lose part of that story. So archaeology is really valuable in that we can go back to that first property that the house was standing on when the Bray School was operating there, and we can learn a lot more about what was going on around the building.
The questions evolve over time. What can the archaeology add to our understanding of the school that can't be seen in the building itself? The activities that are happening out in the yard space, for instance. Do we have outbuildings, other features that are associated with the school that can help us understand the students? Can we take those things and actually put them back on the landscape for the most accurate interpretation of that space as possible? The excavations have revealed a ton about the yard space behind the building. We're able to discover a garden that was there, a garden that the students might have actually been working in, the actual lot boundaries itself, fences that would have been up on the landscape. And by looking at the distribution of artifacts, we may even be able to get a sense of where certain activities were happening on the site where the students might have been congregating or working.
We found a double barrel privy, which is exactly what it sounds like. Someone went and dug a hole, then they dug another one next to it. They put two barrels in the holes, just high enough out of the ground to sit on, and then built kind of a shed structure on top of it. We've focused a lot on being able to kind of see the students in the archaeology. We want to be able to identify artifacts that relate to them and their experience at the school. One of the things we've really been looking for is artifacts related to curriculum. So we know at the school they're learning reading, they're learning the catechism, they're learning sewing and knitting. So, with that in mind, we've been trying to look at the artifacts and see what exactly have we found that can tell us more about that. So we've found thimbles and needles and needle cases that tell us a lot about those activities. They relate to those activities. We've also found things that we didn't expect related to the students. We have more clay marbles at this site than any other site in Colonial Williamsburg, which we can relate to the students, and I think the marbles and artifacts related to childhood like that kind of give us some really cool insight into the kids themselves and kind of remind us that these are children, and children, no matter the time, no matter the circumstances, will find a way to play. I think that's really important to be able to highlight kind of that childhood aspect of these students and their story. We've also learned a lot about Anne Wager. The artifacts in the privy and scattered across the yard are primarily her belongings, right? She's living in the house, so we find ceramics that she would have acquired when she got married several years before she moved into this house, and furnishings that were part of what she brought into the home. So we've been able to kind of get an idea of what her style was like and what her home looked like, and that's been really important for interpreting her life as well.
Archaeology and really looking at the artifacts that we've uncovered, that's where we're trying to get at what were the lives of the students in Anne Wager like. These are the things that they're interacting with on a daily basis. In the privy is all the trash that was laying around when the students were there, but also things like animal bones, which would have been from eating on site. So by looking at the animal bones, can we get a sense of the diet of these students? What are they actually consuming and eating while they're there on site, while they're learning? And that gives us a glimpse into their lives that there's no other way to really get that. That's information that isn't recorded in any documents. So looking at that type of information will start to get us better understanding of the lives of the children.
There is still a lot to learn about the site. We have thousands of artifacts that we've excavated and a lot of data that we still need to work through. We were out there for 5 excavation seasons, and we're just at the beginning stages of analysis. Children, women, and people of color are the least represented in the historic record in this country, and we have the opportunity at this site to interpret all of them. So moving forward, I'm really excited to be able to kind of dig deep into all of the data that we've collected and really take that opportunity to tell these children's stories.